Hello, good evening, and welcome to Thingamajig's racing channel. I'm Thingamajig, and this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have the enjoyment of the Ultimate Racing League, the GRSC Season 2, League 5, Round 6. Isn't that just a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, the Ultimate Racing League, their Group Racing Sunday Championship, consists of 6 leagues, a League of Champions, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 5 is what we are covering this season. We are at round 6 in the lovely, picturesque Italy for Lago Maggiore, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the track that's like Marmite. They either love it or they hate it. I am a lover of the Lago, but there are some out there that cannot like this track. It goes against all rules of racing. Almost every corner needs to be cut with no penalty. Even you breathe at a corner, say at Le Mans or at Red Bull Ring, and you are smacked around the face by a 0.5 penalty. But Lago Maggiore, you can drive virtually across the grass and there is no penalty. So it's a tricky track. It's a tricky track to master, knowing what lines are acceptable. Plus the long sweeping corners that this track produces, and there are many of them, that you go uphill or downhill. It's a tyre killer, ladies and gentlemen. This track has seen the death of many a racing soft tyre. So with League 5 that we're covering, as you already know, because we're at round 6 and you've watched the other round 5 rounds, we're in the Ford Mustang, the Group 4 Ford Mustang, and that is a recipe for disaster, isn't it, really? A Ford Mustang on Lago Maggiore can only mean that these guys are going to have no tyres left by the end of the race, I assume. There was many excuses I was going to use why I can't read you out the championship table to save Dergview's embarrassments, but it's Dergview's fault. He's been lazy, ladies and gentlemen. He's had time off. He's had a little break. Now, I don't know what sort of regime they're pulling here at the Ultimate Racing League, but time off, a break. Pro Sim racing stops for no man, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? Unforgiven? There needs to be a meeting of the families to discuss this. So no table, in a long way about saying. So we're going to get straight on with the grid, ladies and gentlemen. These guys have been qualifying for 10 minutes, and that doesn't afford you many laps. You make a mistake in one lap, or you pick up a penalty after the penalty line and you lose that lap, and then you lose the next lap. It's dicey, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these guys, I imagine, only managed to get a lap in, if that, because 10 minutes and it's over a 2-minute lap here at Lago Maggiore. It doesn't afford a lot of wiggle room for mistakeages. You've got to get that banker lap in straight away, safety first, and then push. So the grid looks like this. It looks a little something like this. On pole then, the Alpha Tauri of AA Ron Geary. Would you expect no less, ladies and gentlemen? He has put a towel on pole position for the rest of the season, and it's up to this motley crew behind him to take that towel away from him. But at the moment, he is the man. He is the one. In second place then, ladies and gentlemen, I think he missed last week, but the week before he lit the track on fire. So let me introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Stubbs. BTCC Stubbs. He is an absolute rocket, as it says on his car. He's Rocket 0010, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to stop with the ladies and gentlemen. It gets really irritating. I heard myself. And it was starting to wind me up, so God knows how you lot deal with it. Right, it's better than though, isn't it? There you go. In third place, we've got Toten. Toten is in the midst of a championship battle, and luckily they can drop rounds because Toten's last round did not go all that well, if I remember rightly. I might be wrong, but this one, he's got a clear view of his nemesis or teammate, as you may want to call him, and he's going to be going all out to get past the Stubbsy and get on top of Double A Ron. Fourth on the grid, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Grello car of Souness, and he is ripping the track up. But he's no friend of tyres, if I remember rightly. Souness might be a tyre killer. So this could be possibly a very, very big struggle, a mountain, one may say, to climb. This last corner in particular is a horror show, although I didn't have too bad with it on Sunday. In what position are we at now? That was Souness. This is YT, ladies and gentlemen, the pilot Mustang, and he has qualified 5th place, which is very solid. Oh, Carbon, there is someone out there. Hello. I was wondering even if I was broadcasting. I must be broadcasting because I use another account to watch my stream on, so I can check this chat. So 6th place then is Mika in the Rizzler car, and I haven't said enough about the Rizzler car. I had a livery once that I designed off of the Rizzler Suzuki bike, and so yes, every time I see the Rizzler livery, it does make me grin. I must say, I really like it. It's lovely. So that's Mika in 6th place. 7th. The Buzzing Hornets of Eric of Canada. Eric of Canada, absolutely trouncing it. He's even out-qualified his teammate, and I must say, it's impressive. He's found his gear, ladies and gentlemen. For the last couple of rounds, we have seen Eric of Canada absolutely land some massive races. So may that progression long continue. 6th at the moment. No, 7th at the moment on the grid. I've just bumped him up a position. Well done. Well done, Eric of Canada. You just got bumped up to 6th. Now he's 7th, ladies and gentlemen. 8th on the grid then is the Yorkshire T of Brian Moncani. Where has he gone in qualifying these last 2 rounds? We're seeing him lower down the order than you would expect. So Brian Moncani, well, they're all on soft tyres. It's 2 sprint races, ladies and gentlemen. I've told you nothing about the format. I just chatted garbage. But it's 2 sprint races. Brian Moncani then in 8th place. They'll all be on the racing softs for this first race. And in the second race, this is 12 laps. The second race is 11 laps. And they'll be on the mediums, but they've got to use hard tyres for at least 2 laps. But we're not there yet. This is Get Smurfed, ladies and gentlemen. Get Smurfed, 9th on the grid. And like I said, qualifying here is very tricky. Very tricky. It's a long lap, and a small mistake can just blow it all out of the window. It was a tough qualifying session, so Get Smurfed there is in 9th. And in 10th, in the 7-Up car, is Pork Sports. Pork Sports back once again to give these guys a run for their money. So that is how the grid lines up, ladies and gentlemen. They're all on racing soft tyres. 12 laps around Lago Maggiore. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be epic. Stay tuned. Here we go. Heading up towards the line then, Double A Ron leads Stubbs up to it. And we're away, ladies and gentlemen. Double A Ron, all he has to do is put his foot down and everything should be neat and tidy. Stubbs chasing him down to that first corner. It's all about who's brave on those cold tyres. And the Double A Ron getting in there nicely, swinging the Mustang one way and another. Stubbs staying with him, Toten knowing he cannot waste no time behind the Stubbs if he wants to get on with this championship. Souness right in the thick of things as well, being chased by YT. Mika into 6th, Eric Canada of 7th, Brian McCartney still holds 8th, gets smurfed in 9th, and Pork Sports in the thick of the action there with Brian and GS Myth. And Brian a little bit slow off of the go, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe he needs an oil change. And Get Smurfed having a sniff up the inside, but there was nothing doing. And Get Smurfed then, no, again Get Smurfed on the run. Brian Moncani seems to be down on power. And yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the Moncant, or maybe he's looking after his tyres. He knows this is going to be a tyre killer. So Get Smurfed is up, and so is Pork Sports. Up into 8th and 9th, double Aaron, and the Stubbs have broken away. Toten's trying to stay with them, as Souness is with him. Souness having a sniff, ladies and gentlemen. Souness looking, but not quite there yet. YT in 5th place, gets to watch all that action ahead, and he's not being too much bothered by Mika. Eric of Canada all on his own in 7th, with the Smith, Sports and Brian Moncani fighting each other hard. At the moment, Brian backing out of this one. I reckon he's looking after tyres. It's tyre conservation from the Monk. And Stubbs isn't hanging around for tyres conversations or conservations. He is on it like a car bonnet, and he wants the lead of this race here as we still make our way around the first lap. Toten trying to fend off the Souness. Souness looking strong in the early parts of the race. He's trying to get that rubber down as quickly as possible before it disappears. Now YT is under threat. Mickey looks very close. Mika very close. Eric of Canada has picked up a penalty, so Get Smurf, Pork Sports and Brian Moncan may get a benefit out of that. Eric of Canada, though, I can't remember where the penalty place was. I didn't know. Oh, Mika having a slight moment there. Mika pushing hard up against YT and just trying to make that Mustang go around is just too much for the Mustang, and it's decided no. It's a bucking horse, ladies and gentlemen. The horse has bolted from Mika's grasp, and now he just has to rejoin the track back in last, and it is devastating. It's a long lap, ladies and gentlemen. Stubbs under pressure from Totes. The Totes is on the move, ladies and gentlemen, trying to go for a long line around, maybe to cut in tight to this corner, but Stubbs trying to stay defensive in the middle of the road, and it looks like Toten dropped a wheel on the mud, and that's put Souness into the game, and Souness then comes through side by side, ladies and gentlemen. What can you say? Still side by side from the Totes, and Souness is drifting his Mustang through the corners, ladies and gentlemen. It is crazy, and it's Souness up and into 3rd place, and Toten down into 4th after he put up an attack for the Stubbs, and Stubbs gets to breathe easy for a second or two, and double Aaron is waving goodbye as he leaves the battle. Souness up into 3rd, then Tote 4. YT is on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Throw some water on him. Canada has paid the penalty, and Smith, Pork Sports, Brian Moncan, all very close on board with the Moncani as he tries to make a move up the inside of the Sports. The Sports trying to defend and keep that 7-up Mustang in the middle of the road, and he's done well so far, but the Brian of Moncan flicking up the way. It's the second lap. They all get purple laps on the second lap, so let's not get too carried away with ourselves. So Brian of Moncani, then he can see Get Smurfed and the Sports ahead of him, and he wants the attack. Have I got the... My God, guys, I've only just noticed I've got their names up. I never do that. That's so weird. Sorry. Daydreaming. So Eric of Canada, what's going on here? The Smith has he's made a mistake coming out of the final corner, and Sports now moves up to 7th, but Brian Moncani is hot on his case, gives him a little nudge through the corner, says I need you to go faster, and that's because the Smurf was all up and in his wax, ladies and gentlemen, and Brian Moncani now with his hands full of Get Smurf trying to get that position back again. And he's just about claiming it from the Moncani, but the Moncani gets a better drive out of the corner, and gets taken, I guess. But he's having another look, and Pork Sports trying to stay out of all of that trouble and just keep that car pointing in the right direction. We've seen that can be tricky from Mika there. So Eric of Canada all by himself. He's loving this one. YT in the fight. Is he still? He is still in the fight, ladies and gentlemen, with Toten and the Souness. And Stubbs chasing down Double Aaron. It looks like he's caught him a little bit. Double Aaron and made a mistake on this lap. But Stubbsy definitely looks a lot closer to him now. Souness in third, Totes in fourth, and YT's in fifth, ladies and gentlemen. Eric of Canada all by himself. And this is a battle. Let's get on board with the YT. See, YT, to me, the username is of two. YT is a name used when you've had too much of something and you start feeling a bit shaky, and they say you've got a YT. Oh my! Totes went very wide there, and YT could close up. Or maybe it's like YT is like one of those IT workers jokes, an in-house joke that they say, oh, I work in IT, YT. So who knows? So he's gone for it though, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Toten putting a wheel wrong coming out of the final corner, and YT goes for the move up the inside and absolutely pulverizes Toten. Toten getting punished in this race, and he's done out wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Just raced hard. Souness then up into third. He has a break from the Totes, and Stubbs we saw closing in on Double Aaron, but it's come to naught, because Double Aaron seems to be on his flow again, ladies and gentlemen. Souness in third, Toten's going up the hill side by side with YT. These guys are definitely wanting to make a race of it, and the Pilot Mustang goes into the corner before Totes, but the Totes is on fire, ladies and gentlemen. He is burning up the road, and he wants to get himself by that Pilot Mustang at the moment. Eric of Canada in sixth. Brian Mulcahy has moved himself ahead of the Pork of Sports, and Get Smurfed is harassing him. Harassing and haranguing. There's a little bit of door banging there, ladies and gentlemen, and it's all fair in love and war and sim racing. Pork Sports back on track then, with Mika looking down the barrel of the 7-Up Mustang. They're all coming into the attack. Pork Sports must have got something a bit wrong in the corner, and then they've all swept by, unfortunately for Pork Sports, but he's got a long time to get it back. We're only on lap 4 of 12. Double Aaron leads. Stubbs is pushing on, ladies and gents. He's trying to get up with him. Souness as well in third place. YT ahead of the Totes. The Totes throwing everything he's got at fourth place. YT holding strong. It's fantastic driving from the Pilot Mustang. We are loving this action, and YT at the moment standing firm here at Lago Maggiore as they complete lap 4 and move swiftly into lap 5. Toten having a look into the first corner. It's a bit late, but he's going for it. My word. And the Totes then on his inside still claims the position. I mean, YT on his inside still claims the position, and Toten is left asking how the hell is he going to get past this Mustang. Eric of Canada still on his own, but Brian Mulcahy is now breaking away from the pack, and oh, Mick has got through as well, and Pork Sports definitely struggling with something. Could be tyre wear, ladies and gentlemen. His tyre wear is a lot worse than these other guys. Get Smurfed and Mika. And I think this is the difference between a wheel and a controller, ladies and gentlemen. The controller can just rip into those tyres, the turning angles, and Double Aaron at the moment, he's getting a bit of tyre wear. So Stubbs, but nothing too bad. Souness in third, holding ground, but I tell you, YT and Toten pushing each other along, and they look closer to Souness, but Souness did a 2:07.3 last time out, whilst YT and Toten both in the 2:08s. Toten going for the outside line around the banky hairpin. Can he make it stick? They're going to do a drag race up to the top of the hill, but it looks like Toten has made the move, ladies and gentlemen, and what a move it was as well, around the outside. Bravery indeed. Very brave. So Totes then has made his move, and he's got himself up ahead of YT. It looked like YT cameraman Looked like YT was trying to come back at him then, but the cameraman decided we were going to look at a blade of grass instead. Souness there in third place. How's it looking? 2:07.3. Everything's fine, but now Toten has been released from that battle. Or has he? Because the pilot driver coming in hard and strong from behind and giving Toten a lot to think about. Hungarian. Oh, has he got a penalty? He may have a penalty there. No, he's just pulled over to yeah, there's no penalty line there. He must have tried to brake. Oh, he tried to break the toe and he's put himself off guard there. And YT, though, YT's got a slidey Mustang under him. And, oh my gosh, Toten trying, he had a moment there to make the kill, but he decided against it. And Eric of Canada just smoothly going, and he'll be noticing that the time behind him will be getting smaller and smaller as Brian Moncani coming in fast, thick and fast. Thick, hard and fast, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Brian Moncani does it. Mika is up ahead of Get Smurf. Get Smurf struggling as well. They are all struggling. Oh no, Pork Sports, if it's not bad enough with the tyre woes, he's got a penalty as well. It's lap 6 of 12. We're halfway around the track. The race, sorry. And Double Aaron has pulled out an absolute blinding lead on the Stubbs. The Stubbs trying to close it up, but Double Aaron doing 206s while Stubbs is in the 7s. Souness in the 7s as well, looking safe from the totes, although the tote has just moved into the 7.5s area. That's where Souness was the last time around. So they are matching each other's speed at the moment, and YT absolutely on the limit today, and he's driving like a legend. And he's impressing a lot of people around here. I can see a lot of eyebrows being raised around the stadium. YT making a name for himself here at Lago Maggiore. And yes, we might be seeing him in League 4 next season at this rate. Toten, though, he's got his League 4 permission slip virtually signed for him. And Souness, he'll be looking for a move up. Oh, Souness gets it wrong. But he pulls it back, ladies and gentlemen, and that was something special to behold as Toten goes ever closer. It would have cost him time, old Souness, old mucker Souness, and his tyres are starting to feel unfortunate as well. So are Stubbs. Double Aaron's, he's holding on to him a little better. Stubbs is starting to wear, and Souness is a little better than Stubbs, I'd say. And then Toten is starting to use his up as YT picks up a penalty. He could do without that and that as well. Oh no, the wheels have fallen off of YT's wagon. Eric of Canada isn't that far away, especially with the penalty to pay as well. YT, he's got to give his head a wobble. Got to get back in the game, my son. Get that focus back again, out wide. My lord, I reckon there's something happening. I think the missus has just flashed him. I can see, I can tell when a man has been flashed by a female and the distraction that it causes. Eric of Canada then totally zooming in on YT, and YT still got to pay that penalty even though he has had an absolute mare of a lap. And he's cracking on though, but Eric of Canada looming large, and this could be another position for Eric of Canada. YT has paid his penalty and has managed to stay ahead of the Canada, but Eric has got the momentum, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the motion, he's got the moves, and he is up and into 5th place ahead of YT, but YT gets a good drive out of the Banksy hairpin, and he's coming in hard and fast against Eric of Canada. If he was America, he'd be putting some real trade tariffs down right now. He'd be putting 100% trade tariffs down on Eric of Canada. And Eric of Canada standing strong. And YT harassing. YT has been in the races today. Brian Moncani closing in, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we think he was going slower at the beginning to save tyres, and he's done a great job because his tyres got barely used. Mika looking after his tyres as well and has cracks on. God, oh no, I was looking at the time then thinking, oh my God, we're at 15 minutes, but it's not a 15-minute race, so we're all right. Get Smurfed in 9th, and oh, it's a bad story there for Pork Sports. Those tyres are truly cooked. And Double Aaron on lap 8 at the moment seems to be... Has he moved it up another gear? Because Totem was giving him hard races at the beginning of this season, but Double Aaron just seems to have moved up to another level. And he's taking it all the way to League 4. Watch out, League 4. Double Aaron is on his way. Stubbs, you might have heard about him. You may have heard him by reputation. Stubbs as well. Latecomer into the season, but picking up good points when he's here, and this looks like a solid second spot at the moment, although there is 4 laps to go, and Souness has got less tyre wear, so Stubbs better be good at driving on used tyres, or the Souness is going to make him pay. Stubbs last time 208.3, with Souness doing an 08.6, so Stubbs a little bit faster at the moment. Toten solid 4th, Eric of Canada ahead of YT still, and YT now has bigger problems on his plate, called Brian Moncani, and he fills the plate, ladies and gentlemen, I tell thee that. Mika in 8th. Unfortunate for Mika, that early exit with those tyres. I think Eric, what was he, about 5th? He was ahead of Eric of Canada, wasn't he? Mika would have been quite dangerous in this race, I believe. Oh, Eric of Canada has met Barry R, and it's like a quick hot date. Eric of Canada back on the track again, and there's a bit of his car that hasn't been hit. Maybe he should drive into the wall again and break all of it. His teammate coming up upon him, and Eric of Canada, my word, he must be devastated. A great drive he was having at that point, up to 5th place, and just like that, it's all been taken away from him. Get Smurf though, still some way away, and I think Eric of Canada's car has miraculously fixed itself. Hallelujah. And Port Sports wondering what's happening with his tyres. He's on the radio to the pit crew saying, well, what's going on? Why are they so bad? Have you put an old set of tyres on these things? They're saying, maybe not go through the corners on full accelerator, sir. So, Double Aaron, what can you say? He's got a mile. He's miles ahead. Stubbs, his tyres are shot. There's no way he can mount any kind of attack at this point. He's got to be more looking behind him than he is in front of him. Double Aaron, unbothered. Stubbs did get a little bit close, and I'm not saying he's been unbothered this whole race. There was a couple of laps there. He probably had a mild thought about Stubbs in the background. But other than that, it's been all his own way. Double Aaron smashing it out one lap after another. Look at them. That's consistency of a champion, ladies and gentlemen. With Stubbs then slowly falling off the pace with his tyres dying on the vine. And Souness with a little bit more life in his tyres, but still dropping into the 208s. Toten also having tyre woes and dropping into the 208s now. Was that a wall hit from Souness, or did he just kick away? It was a wall hit from the Souness, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got a bit of damage on the front quarter of his car. And Toten then, this is the opportunity, he needs to get that podium, and Souness still carrying the damage, and he was hoping to be catching up the Stubbs, but it looks like now he's going to have to be driving in his rearview mirror as Toten starts to loom larger in his mirrors. Brian Moncani looking after those tyres, and he's ahead of YT, but YT has still got that can-do attitude that he started the race with, and he is up for the challenge. He's got himself ahead of Mika somewhere along the way. So great, does he? YT 209, 209. Maybe he didn't fall. He did fall behind Mika, I'm sure he did. But he's ahead now. So maybe this lap of Mika's. No, because Mika's just started this one. Yeah, I don't quite get that, because he didn't go. He mustn't have fallen behind Mika. But Mika is somewhat. Oh, it was Eric of Canada, sorry, that fell behind Mika. I'm forgetting who's falling where, ladies and gentlemen. So Brian McCartney has got himself up into 5th place. Toten might be a big ask. With still 2 laps to go, and everyone, almost everyone, is struggling with their tyres. G. Smith picking up a penalty, but I don't think Port Sports has got the rubber to put up a true battle Now he's just trying to play survival and bring that one home. Double A Ron on lap 10 of 12. Stubbs is spaced out. I don't think we've got it's this. Souness and Toten, they're still quite a distance between them, but Souness are really bad tyres. Toten dealing with the tyres, but they are bad. They've got Brian Moncani and YT heading in their direction, but still 2:08.7 from Brian Moncani, but he's got the tyres. He could go faster if he so wished to. Souness at the moment, the lag is looking real for him. Oh, last time we saw someone bouncing around a little bit like that, they disappeared like a poof of smoke. Toten though closing in. Souness feeling it. Stubbs, he may survive this one. The guys behind him too busy battling each other and tyre wear to go forward and make an attack on the Stubbs. So Stubbs getting it could be a certain second place if he can keep it on the road, and Double A Ron looks like that win is definite, but the last podium position is still up for grabs, it seems. And Brian Moncani, cool, calm and collected driving from him. Another 2:08.1 with YT pushing hard against him, and then we've got Mika in the background as well with a 2:08.3, and Eric of Canada 2:07.7. So Eric of Canada still got the fight in him, ladies and gentlemen, still fancies this. Gets smurfed with a 2:12.1. The tyres aren't that bad, but I think we saw him getting a penalty or something, and Pork Sports is having a manic time on the rubber. So Double A Ron, beautiful drive in this first race. The tyres are getting to the end of their life though. He's even dropped into the 2:08s, 2:09s now for the Stubbs. These guys also in the late end of the 2:09s, just fighting each other on board with Toten, and it looks like this one is mounting an attack on his fellow Mustang driver, and there he goes. Nice and easy, down to the grip, ladies and gentlemen. Cruises on by the Souness, who's really got bad tyre wear at the moment. Toten's is pretty bad as well. So, but Souness had no grip to try and keep that position, and the Totes just cruised on by. Third place for the Totes, still a person between himself and his main rival in the championship. Vodka Rob in the chat saying good evening. Well, hello sir. We are having a look back at Sunday's action in League 5, and I tell thee, it is action packed. That cameraman's going to drive me mad. He's got to get he's got to get off the butt and start being a bit quicker. So the Stubbs in second, Geary in first. He's starting his final lap now, ladies and gentlemen, and it's looking very good for him. Stubbs is a while back, almost a straight away behind. Oh, Toes is hanging his Mustang out wide, and Souness still fancies that position, ladies and gentlemen. Still wants the podium, coming in hard in the first corner, but Toten seems to have his Mustang underneath him as Souness just keeps pushing on. And are they getting closer to the Stubbs? I think they are, you know. Stubbs has dropped into the 10s now. He's really struggling with his tyres, and these two are coming in. We've still got a good minute and a half of this lap, ladies and gentlemen. Stubbs might not be able to manage this second place with Toten and Souness pushing each other on. Then we've got Brian Moncani there in fifth place, just keeping his head down, keeping it tidy, kept his tyres in. Mika up to sixth, another one that's looked after their tyres. Eric of Canada in seventh. YT's dropped down, ladies and gentlemen. YT, ooh, a 2:25 last time out. That's a painful lap with Smith there. His tyres not too bad, but his lap time has dropped off a little bit, and Pork Sports no tyres whatsoever on that car, and he'll be glad to see that it's the final lap. So Stubbs and Toten and Souness, I think they're too busy with each other to worry about the Stubbs at the moment. The Stubbs is slowing down, but Toten and Souness far too wrapped up in each other to try and think about that second place ahead of him. And at the moment it looks like Toten is doing enough to keep Souness at bay, but Souness is nipping at his heels, ladies and gentlemen. And Souness up the hill couldn't be any closer. My word. Oh, Souness has hits the wall hard, and that is the end of his attack, ladies and gentlemen. Double Aaron bringing it around the final corner to take another win this season. I can't even count how many he's had. It's been a cracking season for the Double Aaron. Stubbs gets himself second place, does he though? Into the final corner. And it's tight. If he keeps it on, he keeps it on, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. It's safe. But it was close. One more lap, and I think Stubbs may have lost that to Totes in third. Souness in fourth. Then we have the Moncani in fifth. Mika brings it home in sixth place, which is where they qualified. Eric of Canada in seventh. YT, what a race. What a race for YT, and his position doesn't stand for the race he had, in all fairness. But 8th place for YT, and Get Smurf coming home in 9th. And the Sports is going to be setting fire to those tyres, I guess, at the end of this. He's going to stay out the wall, yes. And Port Sports, the tyre wear was real for him. It's got to be said, he's going to have to spend most of that second race on the hard tyres, it seems. Because his Mustang seems to be ripping up that rubber as he makes his way around the final corner, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude race 1 of round 6, the Lago of Maggiore. And it has been an epic battle of battles. And there you go. Get across that line, Sportsy. That's the one. Beautiful. So there you go. Double Aaron took the win ahead of the Stubbs. Toten in third with Brian Moncani in fourth. Mika finishes in fifth. Eric of Canada grabs sixth ahead of YT. And G Smith gets smurfed in eighth ahead of Pork Sports on his rubber. So it's a tyre killer, ladies and gentlemen. That is plain for us all to see. We've had a flurry of chat. So let me just get down. Rob saying, I had a mare in League 2. Double Aaron in the chat saying, vroom, vroom. Apex Bloomfield in the chat saying, thingy. Double Aaron saying, I've got a few rounds to miss, so the championship is all to play for. So there you go, Double Aaron. Missing a couple of rounds, he's made a promise. I don't want you to go. I like it. I like you in your race. Rob saying, hey, Ethan. Ethan saying, hey, Rob, you good? Rob saying, yeah, not too bad. They're having a chat. You guys don't need to know that. But they're both okay. Here we go then. We're going into race 2, ladies and gentlemen. This one is mainly medium tyres with two laps at the minimum must be done on the hard tyre. Now, if we remember the last time that we had one of these situations, Brian Moncani went around about half the race or over half the race on his hard tyres. So it's going to be very interesting indeed. I'm guessing it's going to be a total reverse grid. It should be 9th place that's on pole, but it never works out that way. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. I'm going to try and not even tell you to look. I'm just going to try and be quick. Right out. Can you believe I had those big names floating over their cars? I'd never do that. I didn't even notice it. So the Sports is on pole. He's going to start with the set of medium tyres. The Get Smurfed is starting on hard tyres in second place. So not even feeling out those mediums, not even giving them, well, maybe they've already tested them and know that they can take the 9 laps. I suppose they should be able to take 9 laps, shouldn't they? But the tyre wear is ramped up in the second race to 3, I think, from 1. So YT is third. He's going on the mediums. Then we have Eric of Canada on the hard tyres. Mika is starting on the hard tyres also, with Brian Moncani opting for a hard tyre start. Souness is on the hard tyres ahead of Toten, who's also starting on the hard tyres, as is the Stubbs and Geary as well. So it's just 2 of them. 2 of them fancy those medium tyres. And everyone else is going for the hard tyre. And I'd assume, with the tyre wear that we've seen here, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to go a little bit longer on the hard tyre than 2 laps. But we will see. This is the beauty. We all learn these things, except for the people who are in the race. They know. There's a couple of them in the chat. I think the grid thing is for the last race of the season. No, in our league, it's ninth place takes pole, and the top 8 get reversed and put at the back. And Vodkarov saying sweet, and Aaron says ×2 tyres, ×3 fuel. See, I got mixed up. So yeah, it goes from ×1 to ×2. Okie diddle-okey, my friends. Are you ready for race 2? 11 laps. YT and Pork Sports opting for a medium tyre. The rest of the field going for the hard tyre. Are they just going to do the 2 laps? Are they going to... this is it. We'll see. Why ask questions now? Let's just play it and find out. So Pork Sports leads them away towards the line. And it is a race on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, YT is going to be wanting to get some early action with those medium tyres. Sometimes you get an indication on what tyres people are on before it starts. And Smith in there. Wow, Get Smurf does not wait around there. And he was on it, but Pork Sports back at him, and lovely, little bit of space given there, and it was a beautiful race in Pork Sports. Little slow in that first corner, maybe easing his way into it. Didn't expect G Smith throwing it in there, and YT on those medium tyres as well, and they're a little bit slidey, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit green, should we say. Eric of Canada in 4th place, Mika in 5th, Brian Moncani in 6th, with the Totes in 7th, Souness in 8th, Stubbs in 9th, and Double A Ron in 10th. But it's the Sports at the moment tearing it away on those medium tyres, and Smith is still ahead of YT. YT needs to get past the hard runner. He does not want to be held behind him for too long. Look at Pork Sports. He's building up a buffer. He is getting on with the business of getting on, ladies and gentlemen. He knows what he must do in this race. With most of the field on the hard tyres and probably pitting at the end of lap 2, he needs to just absolutely sling Mustang and hope he comes out ahead. And here we go, YT in a drag race with the Get Smurfed, and coming down into the braking zone. You've got to give it to YT all day long on those medium tyres. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, he slings it through and up ahead of Get Smurfed. Get Smurfed, though, getting some momentum up the hill. Mika and Eric of Canada looking like it's quite close there betwixt the two of them. And then we've got the Totes in 6th, Brian Moncani in 7th. Double A Ron has made it past Souness and Stubbs, and the Stubbs still stuck behind the Souness. But he's going for a move now. He's had a knock at the real quarter. Souness has got a wiggle on, and I don't imagine he was very happy about that move indeed. And we may see Stubbs back out of it. Maybe he feels that he's a BTC fan, and that is a BTCC move if ever I've seen one. But it looks like there's something wrong with the back of Souness's car. It's wiggling around like the axle is loose from the engine. Oh my gosh. Wowzers. Hang on a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to watch something here with YT. In the corner of my eye, I saw something quite bizarre and peculiar. So coming into the final corner, and YT has caught up Pork Sports quite nicely and dips a wheel, ladies and gentlemen. And could that be any worse? Could that have not landed any worse? He couldn't miss that wall in any such way. He's just sat there totally in shock. My gosh, that... Hey, I wonder if you'll get... No, you need more than 2 people. Mika's moved up in the malaise of it all. It's all gone busy in the middle of the pack. Someone's just been left behind, facing the wrong way, was it? No, Get Smurfed. Get Smurfed has just been absolutely trounced by the rest of the pack. And they are shuffling around like it's lottery day. Pork Sports still leads ahead of the Totes. The Totes is ahead of Mika. Brian Moncani in 4th. And oh my God, we've got a massive smash. An absolutely humongous one. What we got going on here then? Souness, Stubbs, Smith, all coming through. Ooh, it looked to me like Get Smurfed hit the sausage curb, hit Stubbs, and they're still carrying on. Oh my, we're going to have to do that again. Sorry, ladies, and get on the back of a car maybe. So I think the Buzzing Hornet hit the sausage curb, bang. Hit Stubbs. Stubbs comes sliding back on, slides back on, and then hits Souness. And and Souness is in the wall, and Smith is slowing down, waiting for him. My gosh. So I don't know, they might get a safety car for that, because there was more involved. Yes, it looks like Pork Sports. Sorry, why? And there you go, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Oh no, it still looks like he's going for it. So Toten then in 2nd, Mika in 3rd, Brian Moncani still with Double Aaron all up and in his Beeswax and Eric of Canada in 5th place. Then we have Get Smurfed ahead of Stubbs, who is now ahead of YT, who's got himself ahead of Souness, and that was epic, chaotic and beautiful, all in the same kind of... Oh, Pork Sports pushing the Mustang too far, and the Totes is claiming the position, but Pork Sports has got the inside line with the stickier tyre, but he cannot hold on against the Totes, and the Totes is through. The Hungarian is absolutely nailing it on those hard tyres, ladies and gentlemen, and Pork Sports giving away a bit of position there. Mika having a sniff up the inside of the 7-Up Mustang, but the 7-Up Mustang holds strong in 2nd place, but the Tote absolutely sent it, ladies and gentlemen. He licked that stamp, and Double Aaron, not wanting to see that Alpha Tauri of his teammates get too far ahead, is slinging Mustang as well, ladies and gentlemen, and he moves up into 3rd spot ahead of the Mika. Brian Moncani in 5th, just getting to see all of the action. So we'll sit on board with Brian as it's action-packed down there. He's having a sniff at the Rizzler of Mika, as Pork Sports still there in 2nd, but being harassed by the 2nd Alpha Tauri today. And Pork Sports, oh, Mika's got a big wobble on, and there was nowhere Brian Moncani could go then. Unbelievable stuff. We're going to have to look, aren't we? My gosh. Stubbs has pitted, ladies and gentlemen. He's taken in the hard tyres. We missed that, and there's someone else I think's pitted. We'll have a look. Oh, there we go. My gosh. Nothing Brian Moncani could do there. And Eric of Canada just slips on through, up and into 4th, all casual-like. Still on the hard tyres, as is Toten. So, who pitted then? Shall we check? The 2 that crashed. So Stubbs has gone on to the mediums now, and so has Souness. Oh no, Souness has cut the penalty, the pit line, and picked up a 3-second penalty. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. Toten is leading. Double Aaron is trying to get into 2nd place, but the Pork Sports holding his line, ladies and gentlemen, as he can do. And Pork Sports then still racing the big boys. Double Aaron needing to get by the 7-Up Mustang. It's in his way of the championship, whilst Toten pulls ahead. And the question is, when are the hard runners going to pit? We've already seen Stubbs and Souness, and again up and under. Oh, it's a little bit sloppy on the coming out, and I think Pork Sports is lifting there. He's waiting, is he? And Double Aaron comes up and through. It's the right thing to do, but Pork Sports might have slowed down a little too much, and now they've all come through. Oh my words. I had to redress, but he's coming back, Pork Sports of Eric of Canada. And Eric of Canada out wide, and that gives the position back to Pork Sports. Brian Moncani slipped up into 3rd, and amongst all of that, with Double Aaron in 2nd, and the Totes is in 1st. Now the Alpha Tauri boys are back in a position of dominance as Pork Sports, and Toten comes in. Toten comes in from the hard tyre. Toten pulls the trigger, and so does Double Aaron. Brian stays out. Pork Sports obviously stays out because he's on the softer tyre, the medium tyre, fighting with the Brian of Moncani. And it looks like most of the field has pitted. Now, YT started on the medium tyre. No, yeah, YT did start on the mediums like Paul. Oh, it hasn't gone well for both well, a bit better for Pork Sports, but has not gone to plan for YT. He's up to 3rd at the moment, though. But, I mean, he's going to have to put the slower tyre on later in the race, and he's got a more breathing down his back, also on medium tyres now. Toten is 1st in the queue. Then Eric of Canada got out ahead of Double Aaron. Now that is surprising, ladies and gentlemen. He was... How bejeebus did Eric of Canada manage that? That's a champion job by his garage. And Stubbs, who made that earlier stop, he's still in this race. You remember he was spun out with Get Smurfed, who's in the action as well. And Souness is a little bit away, but he had that 3-second penalty, but he's ahead of Mika, so Mika's had a real issue of a lap somewhere along the way. This is crazy. This is a crazy race. Brian Moncani is now in the lead. Oh, yeah, he was in the lead. Of course he was, because they all pitted. So Brian Moncani leads this race on the hard tyre still. Pork Sports in second. I want to see if I can try and catch up with some of this chat, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, sorry, Double A Ron saying we don't get told anything. We are the rejects. No, you're not. It's the new. You're left to fend for yourselves. You're the fresh meat. You're in a scientific experiment. The URL just like to see how you all cope with no rules. YT then, Toten up the inside. It's like a psychological experiment. If you make your own rules up and you bring order, then you're anointed and you can race in the URL. So Toten then pulls the move on YT, and this is the problem YT's got. He's got a lot of faster people behind him that have already used their hard tyre. Vodkrov, yeah, it's just because there's not usually enough people turn up, so they just do a full reverse instead. Vodkrov saying you'll soon be up through the leagues, Aaron. From what I've seen so far, he's fast, isn't he, Rob? Isn't he fast, eh? Eric of Canada again, Stubbsied at the moment. The Stubbs making the moves. And that's Eric of Canada down to 7th. My gosh, he was ahead of Aaron, so he's just lost 2 positions there, unfortunately. Then in the chat, we see Double A Ron saying, hopefully, need to get wheels sorted. Double A Ron saying, no one called it. Oh, the safety car. Now, I suppose they just thought, was it worth it? They're both still in the race. Look, I mean, Stubbsy's still there, 6th, up Double A Ron's rear derriere, so it's not cost him too much. Vodkarov saying, yeah, that probably should have been a safety car. Vodkarov saying these Mustangs look like a handful round here. Double A-Ron saying, been a handful all season, understeer central. Double A-Ron saying, and that was the end of my race. And he said, I put some fuel in, which definitely wasn't needed. Ah, there you go. That's how he ended up behind Eric of Canada. And the end of his race, I think, is when he came across the Sports of Pork. He's still cracking on, ladies and gentlemen, chasing down the Brian of Moncani, whilst Toten is trying to close in on that 2nd place. YT at the moment in 4th place. He started on the medium tyres, as did Pork Sports. We're on lap 5 of 11. All of the rest of the field started on hards. I believe they've all changed except for Brian Moncani. And why would he change? He's leading the race, ladies and gentlemen. Although he's got Toten and Double A-Ron coming in rather swiftly. So I think this is what he did last time. Stayed out on those hards for quite a while and put himself on the back foot. So let's hope he doesn't stay on the hards for too long. This is it. I can feel it. He's coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Brian Moncani. Sports retakes the lead. He'll be using those racing mediums, I imagine, up until the end of lap 9, if he can. We see the tyre wear here. Israel. Toten closing in. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far with a 2:06.8 YT. And he's had a can-do attitude all race, ladies and gentlemen, all round. And he's had some bad luck, my gosh. But he's been pushing on. And he hasn't let his will be broken, ladies and gentlemen. It is strong, and he's in 3rd at the moment. Double A-Ron chasing him down, but he hasn't pitted, nor has Pork Sports. And now the rest of the field have. Brian Moncani comes out behind the Stubbs. So the Stubbs doing it very well. Now, how is he going to factor, against the Brian of Moncani? Although Brian Moncani must be worried more about Eric of Canada, who's breathing heavily down his neck at the moment, saying sweet nothings in his ear. Getsmith is in 8th place, pretty safe from the Souness, who had an absolute mare there through no fault of his own. He just got picked up by an accident between Getsmith and Stubbs. And Mika, we didn't see what happened to Mika, but he's quite far behind. So, although not that far behind the Stubbs, there still might be a race here. We know that Souness, Mika can look after his tyres quite tidily, and Souness likes to tear it up. So you never know, Mika might close in on Souness before the end. Pork Sports at the moment, the gap shrivelling from himself and the Totes, and Double A-Ron's taken that fastest lap away from Toten now. But Toten in the 2:06s on his fresh mediums, and he'll be wanting to get past the Sports very quickly. He'll be saying there's no hanging around here, lad. We need to get on with the business of getting on because my teammate is coming in strong. And I need this win. I really need this win. He needs this win, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to be said. To keep that championship alive. We've not got a championship table. We're going to get a double. We've been promised a double. So at the end of this round, we're going to get... Sometime during this week, we're going to get it... whoa! The last 2 rounds updated. So it'll have this round on it. So there you go then, Toten making a beautiful precise move past the Pork of Sports, who's starting to feel that tyre wear is real. YT's tyres still fresh, and Double Aaron hitting hard with those fastest laps, keeping Toten on his toes. Stubbs in 5th place now, with Brian Moncani chasing him down in 6th, and Eric of Canada in 7th, the Souness in 8th. It's Get Smurf to slip back. Ooh, painful. A 221 from Get Smurf there. He slipped back behind the Souness, and now Mika has someone to play with. And to play with him, he will. Hang on. Oh, that's a better view. So on board with the German as he goes in to interrogate our Smurf. So, you want to be in 9th place? 9? Look, that was a stretch, I know, but 9 is no in German, if you didn't know. And Mika wants 9. Okay. I'll get back to commentating, shall I? I'll leave the stand-up routine where it deserves to be, in the bin. Toten then leads this race with Pork Sports in 2nd. Double Aaron is under pressure. No, Double Aaron's gone through. Sorry, Double Aaron's made a move. YT is putting pressure on him, but YT has just received the pressure, I believe. And there is Double Aaron moving up and into 3rd place. These Alpha Tauri boys, there's something in the water in that garage, ladies and gentlemen, because they are absolutely lit. They slap. And now we're going to get part 2 of the Pork Sports Double Aaron mission. YT's gone in. He wants hard tyres now. We've still got 3 laps to go, so he's taking no chances. Pork Sports looks like he knows that Double Aaron's got the grip on him, and he stays out the way of this one. And that's Double Aaron then up and into 2nd place with a clear run on his teammate. This is a showdown of the championship, ladies and gentlemen. Over halfway, and I think Double Aaron has a healthy lead, but he said he's going to have to miss a round or 2 later in the season. So Toten is still open for business. Pork Sports at the moment 3rd. He's going to have to make his pit stop at the end of the next lap. That is the last chance he has to make that pit stop, or he will incur the wrath of the stewards. Stubbs is up to 4th with Brian Moncani in 5th. Eric Canada is 6th. Whitey's come out on those hard tyres in 7th ahead of Souness, but well ahead of Souness. But he looked like he was driving from off of the road then, so he can't afford many of those, ladies and gentlemen. Souness then in 8th place with the Smith. Under pressure of Mika. Mika has absolutely... I don't know what happened to Mika in this race, but wow, I think it was something to do with his pit stop, because it was his pit stop. Oh, and he's making a beautiful move now on Get Smurf. Just breezes on by up the hill, and that's all about getting the line right through that corner and getting a better drive out. So now Mika holding ground ahead of Get Smurfed, and Get Smurfed isn't taking this sitting down, ladies and gentlemen. They are up for it. They are on the attack of the Rizzler Mustang, and they're trying to pull up alongside it. They can't decide whether or not to go for the gap or pull this toe, and they're going for the gap. They're going in for the late break. We saw Double A, I think it was Double Aaron, pull a lovely one around the outside, but it's not happening here as Mika took that one in nice and tight, and it's Mika that holds the 9th place ahead of G. Smith. So Mika did get 9. My gosh. Toten still leads with Double Aaron set to chase. Stubbs under pressure of the Moncani. Moncani fancies a podium today, and Pork Sports has brought it in on the end of lap 8. The tyres just too much, and he wants to be getting out ahead of YT. YT bringing it around that final corner at the moment. Pork Sports not even at his box. Oh no, YT going to get through. Unbelievable. Pork Sports is there being serviced. They've dropped the car, but YT's through, and so is Souness. Pork Sports coming out in eighth behind Souness, ahead of Mika and Smith. GS Smith. So Pork Sports then onto the hard tyre, and this is going to be hard, ladies and gentlemen, with the two cars behind him on the faster tyre. So Pork Sports is going to have to do all he can to try and keep that Mustang ahead. Souness then up and into 7th with YT in 6th. Eric of Canada in 5th place. And Brian Moncani trying to catch up the Stubbs. But at the moment, Stubbs doing a fantastic job. And we'll check out that battle between Double Aaron and Toten. See how close it's getting. It's not too bad. Toten seems to have this one squared away. We're on lap 9 of 11. 2 laps to go after this one. Double Aaron pushing the limits of the track there as we see Brian Moncani chasing down the Stubbs. And Stubbs has got to be feeling that one now. He seems to be getting closer and closer. Eric of Canada in 5th place. Come on, guys, keep it going. YT's too far behind. We can't get that one. Ah, well. Just trying to keep the same shot. Stubbs then in 3rd spot, but Brian Moncani is a machine, ladies and gentlemen. Stubbs an 8.2. Last time around, Brian Moncani is 7.7. And that's nearly half a second faster. And Brian Moncani now into the end game. He knows what he needs to do. He's got lovely fresh tyres, especially next to the Stubbs. Stubbs half-used mediums against Brian Moncani's fresh out of the wrapper rubber. He's coming up against the Stubbs here, the Rocket versus the Yorkshire T. And it's looking very tidy at the moment. Double Aaron not managing to close up on the totes, so it's a bit closer. But Stubbs definitely feeling now. Brian Moncani is in for the kill. You can see the white of his eyes, ladies and gentlemen. His finger is twitching on the trigger. He just needs to see the gap. Show him the gap. And the Brian Moncani will shoot. So on board with Brian, let's see if we can spot the gap, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see if we have the same racing reflexes as our man Moncani. Whoa, they're both going out wide there, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. Brian Moncani cutting in a little tighter. Stubbsy trying to break the toe by moving right over to the right, bringing it slightly back to the left. And Brian Moncani still grabbed a toe anyway. And then down through the gears, cut that chicane as tight as you possibly can. And Brian Moncani getting a better drive out of it, ladies and gentlemen. He does have better grip. And now he is almost sniffing exhaust fumes. He's getting high off of Stubbs' supply. And Brian Moncani then touching bumpers. They're touching tips, ladies and gentlemen. And Brian Moncani, can he see the gap? Is that the gap? Not quite. Not quite the gap that we're looking for. Could the gap be round this corner, ladies and gentlemen? At the moment, Toten leads from Double Aaron. No gap there, sir. But it's definitely down here, I imagine. Oh, there's a huge gap now. That's a gap. Ooh, we give him a help. No bump drafting in the URL, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it looks like Stubbs has lifted off for him. Bless him. Oh, bless his cotton socks. I'm sure Brian didn't mind giving him a boot down the straight. He probably thought, yeah, keep this one going for the final lap. But it looked like to me Stubbs lifted off then after Brian gave him a little boost. It was, I suppose, the right thing to do, but it's more fun for us for the race. Eric of Canada in 5th, and now Eric of Canada is not he's not that far away from this. It is the final lap, and it's very unlikely that he can catch up the Stubbs. But my word, another lap or two, and Eric of Canada may have been all up and in Stubbs' business. YT is in 6th place ahead of the Souness, and Mika closing in. YT on those hard tyres, remember. Pork Sports, he's managed to stay ahead of Get Smurfed, but Mika managing to get by as where is Totes? Oh, he's miles away. We're miles away from the end of this race yet. Stubbs might still be in trouble then. We're miles away. Come on. Come on. I've got nothing against the Stubbs master. Stubbs, he wants it back, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Moncani and Stubbs playing the break the toe game. And Stubbs, he doesn't realise his tyres are woeful. He still wants to race. And Brian Moncani saying, sit down, boy. Your tyres are in no state for this. But Brian Moncani, though, being chased by the Stubbs, he wants the podium back. Had a lovely second place in the first race, and a third place in the second race will go very well with that. 2 little trophies sat on his little his draining board. It looked great. So Brian Moncani at the moment having to play the defensive game, but as soon as they get to the corners, and that's where Stubbsy just cannot live up to what the Yorkshire T Mustang can produce. Toten then crosses the line, takes the win. He needed that one. And Double Aaron comes home in second place, keeping that championship going, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Moncani claims that third spot ahead of the Stubbs, who finishes in fourth. And Eric of Canada in fifth. Great weekend for Eric of Canada there. YT on those hard tyres. Can he stay ahead of the Mika? Mika fancies it. Has he got ahead of Souness as well? I'm not sure. No, I don't think he has. So YT then grabbing that sixth spot in the end. Well done. Great stuff. Great drive from YT. Mika in seventh. Souness with a penalty. That might turn into a 1 second penalty. Pork Sports might get 8th place here. If he's not, no, he stays in 9th with Smith in 10th. Oh, I thought that half a second penalty for Souness would have could have put him behind the Sports, who on the hard tyres, it looked like he liked the hard tyres better than he liked the mediums, getting better times out of those hard tyres than he was the mediums. So yes. And not a Lago Maggiore that I think Pork Sports will want to remember. So Toten takes the win. It's a win each for the Alpha Tauri boys. They're sharing it out now between them. It's lovely. So the Hungarian takes the win ahead of Double Aaron, and that championship, I can't wait for the table to be released. It's going to be absolutely crack-a-lacking. Brian Moncani, great drive there, up and into third place. And kept on those hard tyres for a long time out in the lead. And came back. And with fresh tyres at the end there, had nothing to worry about from the Stubbs, who was really struggling with his tyres come the end of the race in fourth. Eric of Canada, a nice gentle drive to fifth place. And a job well done for Canada. YT in sixth. Ahead only just of Mika in seventh. With Souness, his woes was on lap 2 or 3. 2, I think it was lap 2, when him, Stubbs, and Get Smurfed all ended up in a wall. And Pork Sports in ninth, finding that the hard tyre was better than the mediums, and he just spent most of the race on the mediums. I bet he wish he went on the hards really early. And Get Smurfed coming home in 10th. So that was round 6, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what the next round is. I should be more organised than this. I honestly can't remember. Sometimes I didn't even know it was Lago Maggiore this week, to tell you the truth. So it won't be until next Sunday when I find out where we race. Like Double Aaron says, there's not a lot of information. There is. They stick something on Messenger at the beginning of the season, and then after 6 rounds of everyone chatting on Messenger, the actual bit goes and disappears somewhere in the nether, and you have to keep scrolling up to find it. Fuji, yeah, I did know Fuji. Someone said it the last one, and it's an endurance race. Yeah, so round 7 is at Fuji. Hey, that's not so bad for the Mustangs. That's a long straight line. Mustangs like straight lines, so we might, the drivers, the pilots might enjoy it next week because it's Fuji. It is with a chicane, though, I believe. I think they said it is the chicane one, so yeah. What the admins giveth, they taketh away with the other hand. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here at Thingamajig Racing Channel for the Ultimate Racing League's GRSC Season 2. It is blinding. I'm loving the Ford Mustang. They're not, I am. So, but I enjoy their pain and misery. What does that say about me? Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for those in the chat and everyone that organises all the racing, those that take part in the racing. It takes a village, ladies and gentlemen, and there's not enough time to thank everyone, so we'll just do a blanket thanks. Cheers. Tooroo. Peace and love. Peace and love.